Hi, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. So, this lady asked a question with this article, and is having a boyfriend now embarrassing? So, this article has got people talking. There's several opinions, and I've seen so many different takes on TikTok. So, without wasting your time, let's hear it from the lady who wrote the article. Let's get in.
For British Vogue, I wrote, "This piece is having a boyfriend embarrassing now." I know people have reading the headline, they're like, "Nah, nah, nah." But listen, for this piece, I interviewed a bunch of women. I spoke to them about why they hide their partners on social media, or they like post very inconspicuously about them. You know, some people said it was about privacy and this sort of unique, special privacy that you only afford your romantic partner. A lot of people spoke about the evil eye and this idea that, oh, if I post my partner, then people who are jealous of me will somehow, through their terrible vibes, ruin my relationship. Some people said that they felt as if they were scared to post because what happens when someone comes to them as a woman, or what happens when they break up and they have to, delete all the posts. And there's this whole feeling of like shame of having tried and failed to find love. And then there was a really interesting point that came across both people in relationships and single people. And this idea that like being in a relationship with a man and showcasing it to the world in and of itself was an embarrassing thing to do. And that's what I really wanted to get into. There was this idea of there not being a solidarity with other women. There was this idea of like a relationship just by default being something that rendered you quite uncool. I spoke about this podcast I came across where they were talking about, is it lame to have a boyfriend? And they say, when I meet a girl and she has a boyfriend, I automatically just kind of put her in a box or in a category, and I just don't feel as inspired or engaged by her. And then when someone doesn't, I feel like they have so much life and prospect, and they are just entertaining and fun, and I kind of feel empowered by their individualism. But interestingly, the girls talking about this on the podcast, agreeing with this idea that like girls without boyfriends are cool, are also in relationships themselves. And so I was thinking so much about how it is very uncool to be a boyfriend girl. It is very uncool to be a my man person. And I spoke to both just people who are on social, but also content creators and influencers about what happens when they post their partners, right? A lot of them lose a lot of followers, especially if they were already single. And this idea that now you are someone's girlfriend and you're posting about this, it's something that people automatically disengage from. I do it too. If I follow someone because they, I don't know, post their outfits and all of a sudden it's their boyfriend every day, I'm just like mute. I came here for a reason. But this is happening like across the board, and like just culturally, I think a lot of like the days of a man being a prize has really changed. It's really changed. And obviously this has come from like just the empowerment of single women in general, but also just how the trajectory of men and women are going in completely opposite directions. And now we're having to look at heterosexuality with the political lens that we've looked at other sexualities. And we really have to evaluate, if we are a part of this thing, what does it mean? And so it's a really interesting piece. I think people should go and read it.
She's basically summarized it, but I'm going to link it in the description. If you wanted to have a read, you can go read it for yourself. Now, I've seen a lot of different takes. Some are yes, some are saying yes, it's embarrassing because of everything that is happening on social media. Like we had the tea app, we have the are we dating the same guy? Like it's gotten to the point where people are like scared to even post their boyfriends. They would rather protect whatever it is they have. And venturing into relationships has become this whole scary thing. And besides that, there's the rest of the ladies who already have their own brands. Like maybe they have a following on social media already, and they don't want to confuse people because they don't want it to be about their men, and they want it to be about themselves. So essentially, it's like centering themselves rather than their relationship. Okay, but on the flip side, there is a whole bunch of people who disagree with it. Like it's not embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and people who are saying that it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend are miserable and single and lonely. All right, so without wasting your time, let's get into that quickly, and I want to come back and talk some more and leave your own thoughts and opinions in the comments. Thank you.
I told you so. I told you that girlfriend culture was dying. And then Vogue has now underscored and punctuated my point perfectly. Being a girlfriend is a nothing burger. Being a girlfriend is nothing, and to seek to become someone's girlfriend only is not only short-sighted, but it looks foolish now. It's cringe. Vogue has certified it. And not only has Vogue certified it, almost every single woman that I encounter that has any merit whatsoever is done craving being picked by a man, craving being chosen, or desiring to be in the dating scene in relationship at all. So many women are just opting out. And if you seek to be in partnership with men, I am not judging you, but seek to be a wife, seek to be a partner, to be a girlfriend, please have some self-respect. But I, for one, am just happy that, the higher ups and the muckety mucks agree with what I said weeks back. Girlfriend culture is dying. Instead, women are choosing themselves. They're choosing beautiful lives. They're choosing careers, making money, their friends, having men, but not having them centered in their life. And it is a beautiful thing. We should all celebrate. I can feel a matriarchy coming on, and I'm so thrilled.
Yes, having a boyfriend now is embarrassing because the jig is up. I saw that article in The Cut that questions if having a boyfriend now is embarrassing. And in my opinion, yes, it is, because we now know what it takes to maintain these long-term relationships with these men. We now know what it takes to even engage with them in a casual way at this point. It was assumed in the past that you would be taken care of, that they would be providing for you, that over time that the love would just grow. And now we know that's not what happens. Now we know when women get into these relationships, there is something that they're sacrificing, something, a part of themselves that they are completely abandoning and giving up in order to be in companionship with this male. No matter how much he likes you, no matter how much he worships you, no matter how much he wants to be there, no matter how much he likes you more than you like him, there is something embarrassing that you don't want to tell your friends that you put up with. I myself was embarrassed to tell y'all that I was in a relationship, which is so interesting because there was a point in time where I actually told myself, I'm going to have to settle if I want a man. And I remember that was the moment I was like, wait a minute. I want this too badly. Like, for what? Now when my friends talk about men, I join them. I don't lead with, I got a man, so I'm out the street. I don't know what y'all talking about. Man, I do know what y'all talk about to this day. Okay, so yeah, having a man is embarrassing. I don't lead with it because what is the social currency at this point? When we know how much they struggle to meet women's expectations.
The reason why having a boyfriend is so embarrassing is because it reveals your level of self-esteem. And for a lot of millennial women, our self-esteem is not where it should be. I honestly believe you attract what you are, and you can see your level of self-esteem reflected back at you in the partner that you've chosen or accepted for yourself. And I think that's why it's so embarrassing, because a lot of women don't want to confront the fact that they don't want to accept that that's who they are as well. So it's like you're looking at your boyfriend, you're somewhat dissatisfied with him, but you also know that is a reflection of you. You can see so clearly where you're at, and a lot of women are not happy with who they are, where they're at in their lives, and what their self-concept is. Have you ever met someone's boyfriend and you start to look at the person differently? Like, I feel like everyone's had that experience. Like, you see someone's boyfriend, you're like, whoa. You literally, it changes your opinion of someone, like, for better or worse, right? And I think a lot of the time it's for the worse, which is why everyone understood the title of the article about it's having a boyfriend embarrassing. That everybody understood that, because we all have had that feeling where you meet someone's boyfriend or someone gets in a relationship and you're just like, really? This is also backed up by the fact that a lot of women around my age, right, look back at their exes and they're so embarrassed by their exes. He was embarrassing when you were with him, but now you're looking back and you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my God, I don't claim him. Oh my God, whatever. But it's like, it's been embarrassing because you weren't self-aware enough to know that that's the level you're operating at. And so only when the relationship really turned to shit, you realised, you couldn't cover your shame anymore. You couldn't cover that embarrassment of being with such a lame guy. And by extension, recognizing that you are somewhat lame.
British Vogue released that article about is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and everyone's talking about it, but I feel like they're missing one key thing. I honestly think the biggest reason why it's like embarrassing to have a boyfriend now is because men's online behaviors have never been more accessible and more public than right now, and that's been a big part in how it's shaping how women perceive other women with men. So that sounded like word vomit, and what I mean by that is, do you remember National Boyfriend's Day when everyone was up and posting their men and you were like, what the hell, like he has a girlfriend? That like weird ass man on your hall that you still follow for some reason has a girlfriend. He's in every girl's DMs, he's in everyone's, like, he's flirting with everyone everywhere. And the biggest thing is how much like women talk about that kind of thing. It's humiliating because women talk, and women create this network of, we know who the creeps are, and if you don't know who the weird guys are, then you're like not in the club, and you're currently like always worried about what if it's my man. Like, I can go on Instagram Reels right now and find like some girl's booty pic that like 6 guys with their loving girlfriends in their profile pic have all liked. It's so public and it's so everywhere and pervasive, and it's so like lustful that it's just inevitable, essentially. And I would argue that having an online boyfriend is now like a status symbol, where you'll meet girls who are like very happy if their boyfriends only have like 100 or 200 followers, or even better if they don't have Instagram like at all. I also think it's a big issue of dating is now the most serious it's ever felt, like ever. Everyone has to talk for his 10,000 years before they even consider dating. It feels like you're getting married at this point when you're even just in a relationship. And that kind of casualness is killing casual romance in most relationships. This is just me yapping out of my ass probably, but let me know.
So apparently having a boyfriend is embarrassing now. That's what British Vogue is asking in an article written by a good sis by the name of Shantae Joseph. So when I saw that title, is having a boyfriend embarrassing now, I had to stop and sit with that for a second. Cause shit, your girl been out of the dating pool for over 16 years. I've been married, now I'm in the process of separating, so I've seen both sides. I didn't even realize being embarrassed by having a boyfriend was a thing. But after reading the article and seeing the conversation online, I get it. For so long, we lived in what Shantae called boyfriend land. That era where women were like rewarded for being chosen, where your photos, your captions, your entire identity revolved around some raggedy man. And now women are rebelling against that shit. We're tired of being seen as reflections of whoever we're with. But here's the thing. I personally think we're starting to swing from one extreme to the other. It went from you're not complete without a man to if you have a man, you must have lost yourself. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't think freedom means hating partnership. I think it means having the choice to be single, to be partnered, or somewhere in between and still know who you are. So as someone who's separating, who's in the process of healing, who's still figuring out what the fuck love even looks like now, I understand wanting to protect your peace. If I ever date again, ever, way down the road, I probably wouldn't post him either. Not because I'd be embarrassed, but because my peace, my healing, my platform just aren't built around proving I can be chosen. But there is a fine line between protecting your peace and performing detachment. And I think a lot of us are starting to cross it. We've turned not caring into this badge of honor. We've made vulnerability feel like weakness. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to swing so far away from boyfriend land that we start shaming connection altogether. Love isn't embarrassing. The performance of love was. So no, I don't think having a boyfriend is corny. I think what's corny is pretending you don't want love just because it's cool to act like you don't need it.
I'm at home and I just got done reading Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing? And as a single woman living alone in her 30s, I have thoughts. First of all, I felt like for a long time when I would be in social settings and I would say like, yeah, I'm 33 and I'm single, I would always get these like sad puppy eyes, like poor her, she doesn't have a boyfriend. So I'm so excited that society is finally switching the narrative. And the reason why I'm so excited is not because I think having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I don't think that at all. In fact, I think in a world filled with hate, seeing love is actually refreshing and a beautiful thing every once in a while. But I think it's so exciting because women are finally waking up to the idea that having a boyfriend is basically the least interesting thing about you. Someone who is a great example of this statement is actually Aaliyah's face. That girl has a boyfriend and you will never know. In fact, sometimes I freaking forget because homegirl has so many things going on that her boyfriend is like the last important thing, the least important thing about her, the least interesting thing about her. She is going to Pilates, she's practicing her Spanish, she's running marathons, she's hanging out with her friends, she's taking solo days, she's traveling somewhere. That girl has so much going on that her boyfriend is not a pedestal, and therefore it's not embarrassing for her to have a boyfriend, if that makes sense. Having a boyfriend isn't embarrassing, it's boring, and it should be. It should be for each and every woman. Having a boyfriend should be the least interesting, most boring, most yawning thing about you. And if it is, you're in the right relationship. where single women come into play when it comes to this article is that I hope that we are finally going to be looked at with eyes of excitement and not eyes of like pity and sadness when we say that we are single, because the reality is single women are interesting. We are so interesting. We're filled with happiness, with joy. We are filled with hobbies and goals and everything in between. And I believe we can learn so much from single women or women decentering men in general. Where this article scares me is when I think of all the single women out there who have been single for years and have done all the solo dates and the traveling and everything, have hit all the goals and want love, because I'm one of those women. I've been single for over 2 years and I'm not afraid to say my name is Celeste and I want someone to share my life with. But that's the thing, is that at my age, I don't want a boyfriend, I want a partner. And I don't think women should be shamed for wanting that, because it's a perfectly normal thing to want. It's perfectly okay to want to share a life with someone, a partner, a husband. A boyfriend to me at this age feels more temporary, so that's why I say like boyfriend or husband. But that also doesn't mean that that woman or me should be disregarded, because there's still plenty of other amazing things about women who are out here dating and want love. It's just a bonus. Love is just a bonus. A boyfriend, a partner, it's all just a bonus, but it's not everything. And so shout out to the writer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And that's all I got to say. Bye.
Don't let the miserable people of the internet tell you that it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend. It is not embarrassing to have a boyfriend. It is embarrassing to date a loser, which for some of y'all is one and the same. So if that applies to you, you should be embarrassed. Anyways, my friend sent me this article today that's been floating around on the internet claiming that it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend right now. It's embarrassing to claim a man. That does not apply when you date people who elevate your life. If they're treating you well, going above and beyond for you, and making your life exponentially better, it's not embarrassing. You're embarrassed to claim him probably because he's a loser. Probably because he doesn't do any of those things for you. Like, I just don't think we need to be so extreme and follow these trends. Like, it's chic not to have a man. Like, go out there, live your life, have high standards, and eventually you're gonna meet somebody who reaches those standards and goes above and beyond. That person will not, it's not embarrassing to claim them. It's not embarrassing to date them. I swear these people on the internet want you to be single, want you to be like miserable just like they are, and you absolutely don't need to fall for that.
Vogue just posted an article saying having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I think for men, this is a wake-up call. To the smart, independent woman, good salary, nice place, we provide no benefit. We are no longer the priority. In fact, we're probably a burden to them. We need to realize having a girlfriend is a privilege. And our duty is to raise them up and make them the most successful version of themselves. That might mean doing the laundry and picking up the dishes. It might mean working harder to support them so they can go back to school. It might mean just focusing on ourselves more to be the best versions of ourselves, to inspire them to want to do the same. I think a healthy relationship involves both people raising each other up to be the best versions of themselves and doing whatever they can to support that person to be able to do that. Right now, I don't think men are doing that. I think men don't really provide a benefit. We need to figure out how to provide that benefit so we are no longer embarrassing.
I love that I live in this era where I get to see this, okay? Whatever we are talking about is essentially getting through, okay? Because all I'm seeing is women are choosing themselves. Women are centering themselves. It's no longer men being put on the pedestal. Most women in relationships will rather be quiet about it because it's just a relationship. Think about it. It's just a relationship. It could end any day. You know, it could end any day. So it's no longer that thing that it used to be where, you know, being chosen was a whole thing. Oh, look, I have a man now. Oh, look, this man chose me. It's no longer about that. Yes, I have a man, but it's not as important as it used to be. I am still the focus. You know, I am still me. You know, the man is not the defining factor of my existence anymore. Okay? The man is good. The man can be there, but then this is me and this is my opinions. And this is me, presenting myself to the world as myself, regardless of me having a man or not. So it's not necessarily it being embarrassing, it's women choosing to center themselves. And that in itself to me is very powerful. And yes, there's a lot of women who still do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to showcase your man and you're proud to have this relationship, and this relationship is giving whatever it's supposed to give, we want that for you. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And at the same time, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to show your man or talk about him all the time, wanting to talk about other stuff. It's also okay, and we are here for it and we love it, okay? Aside there, are we dating the same guy and all those men who will stain your white and embarrass you at every second that they get, and all the wives coming online showing us what is going on behind closed doors, and some girlfriends sharing their stories online and so on and so forth? For most women now, they are choosing to center themselves, not to put the relationship on the pedestal, not to put the man on the pedestal, the house and the kids, and the ring and so on. They are not. They are choosing them. That is a part of them, but that is not them, basically. So that's my humble take on the whole situation, and I like it and I love it and I'm here for it. And if you are a man and you're seeing it and it feels or it's triggering you in any way, shape, or form, listen to the last guy. That means that you need to do better. The relationship has to give. It has to be something that is worth talking about. But if we are doing the bare minimum and we are running around doing it, what's the point? I have other interesting things I can talk about than, I live with a man. Yeah, so what? And what? It's not that much of a big deal anymore, like it used to be, because relationships are not defining women anymore, basically. Okay, so hey, that's just my humble take on the whole situation. Let me know your own opinion, and I'm going to leave it here, and I'll see you again in another video. Take care of yourselves and one another. Bye.